Here are some of the stories Sightings is following in the news. For the first time in more than 25 years, 6 hours of provocative Air Force audio tapes have been cataloged and condensed. So now the public can finally hear for themselves what happened when a UFO appeared over one of America's largest military bases. Carla Wohl reports.
Edwards Air Force Base is one of the largest aircraft test centers in the world. The people who work here know the difference between an experimental aircraft and a meteor. But in 1965, they couldn't figure this one out.
I understand you got some U-pods. Roger. Whereabouts are they? Edwards, Victorville area.
Key excerpts from the declassified tapes have been organized into an audio documentary. I spoke with Sam Sherman, the documentary producer.
Why did you decide to do something with them?
I felt the public should know something about it. It's a subject that has been ridiculed for many years.
It was a daunting task to make sense out of hours of tape from dozens of different sources.
I took all the significant pieces of the conversations from phone patches and ground-to-air radio, base-to-base communication, and put them all together so it was like a dramatic program.
Sherman took 8 months to assemble the collection of tapes into a concise and comprehensible account of the Edwards UFO incident.
I was stunned to find out that a squadron of 12 UFOs was over Edwards and that there was an alert status and that 5 other bases were involved and NORAD was involved. It shocked me.
This is the tower at Edwards. We have an object now. Open the seal. I can make out red and white flashing light.
The air traffic controller on duty that night has agreed to speak publicly about the UFO incident for the first time in 3 decades. That interview on an upcoming edition of Sightings.
Shroud, believed by many to be the burial cloth of Jesus still bearing his likeness, will soon be put on public display for the first time in 20 years. Although some scientists have concluded through carbon dating that the Shroud of Turin is a medieval forgery, new research suggests previous carbon dating is unreliable.
This is a replica of the Shroud of Turin. Probably the most visible features are the 2 parallel burn marks that were the result of the fire that the Shroud suffered in the year 1532.
John and Rebecca Jackson head up a joint Russian-American scientific investigation from the Turin Shroud Center in Colorado. And researchers in Moscow have found evidence that the 1532 fire may have tainted carbon dating results.
The fire itself, the fire alone, is able to generate such an error as 400 years.
And pollen samples from the Shroud, as well as distinctive funeral markings, suggest the Shroud is of Middle Eastern origin.
I, with certainty, can say that the man in the Shroud has elements that are distinctly Jewish, and the burial customs are typically Jewish burial customs, which were in force at the time of Jesus.
Minimal age, not exact, but minimal age of the Shroud is about 18 or 1700 years before present.
Age is a critical factor. But the most enduring mystery to be solved is how the human form was imprinted on the cloth, since there are no traces of paint or body fluids remaining on the Shroud.
And certainly one possibility is radiation, because that can cause changes to the cloth. I am not prepared to offer any sources of or causes of that radiation. However, there's something here that needs to be resolved one way or the other.
We'll have more stories from the news next time. Now, here's what's coming up on Sightings.